In keeping with the themes of tolerance and cake, let's return to our favorite Christian baker, the Masterpiece Cake Shop. If you haven't heard, it's in the news again, this time for refusing to bake a cake designed to celebrate a gender transition. In this video, I want to use this most recent clash as an opportunity to draw an important distinction between two very different kinds of liberal positions. What I'll call live and let live liberalism on the one hand, and what I'll call coercive social progress liberalism on the other. Let's do it. For a long time, arguments in favor of gay marriage were based on things like privacy rights and freedom.
Freedom isn't free. It costs folks like you and me. And if we don't all chip in, we'll never pay that bill.
Proponents would argue like this. It's none of your business what two men or two women do in the privacy of their own bedroom. It's wrong to impose your moral code on their life. Or like this. Two men or two women getting married doesn't affect your life or your marriage at all, so why not let them get married? After all, gay couples let heterosexual couples get married and they have no interest in preventing them from doing so. You could run similar arguments in favor of pro-transgender positions as well, based on liberty and privacy. What business is it of yours if someone suffering from gender dysphoria decides to undergo a gender transition? Or how does it affect your life if someone decides to transition from one gender to another? However, these arguments in favor of pro-LGBTQ positions have slowly been replaced by arguments based on the moral rightness or goodness of, say, gay marriage, or the metaphysical correctness of the transgender narrative. We should allow gay people to get married because gay marriage is a positive moral good. And we should allow people with gender dysphoria to transition because the gender they identify with just is their real gender, and to deny this is to deny their humanity. Sorry to disappoint, but I don't intend to evaluate any of these arguments in this video.
That is so lame.
The point is simply to contrast them. The first set of arguments doesn't assume that gay marriage or gender transitioning is good. The second set does make that assumption. And it's important to note that these differing rationales support different forms of activism. For instance, if you're motivated by liberty or privacy concerns, you'll be satisfied with a live and let live outcome. You'll feel your goal's been met if gay people can marry and pursue happiness as they see fit, and trans people can transition if they desire to. But if you're motivated by the conviction that, for instance, gay marriage is a positive moral good, or that the trans narrative is the correct one, and you think the law should follow morality and metaphysical correctness as closely as possible, you'll be more likely to be motivated to punish those who disagree or who dissent from the new moral orthodoxy. In reality, this is no different than when conservatives and right-wing people seek to impose their moral code on other people. It's just a different set of morals. All that's changed is which morality, or whose morality, gets imposed on others. In saying this, I'm not saying it's always wrong to impose a particular moral code on other people. We already do. You're not free to dissent from the prohibition on stealing and murder, for instance. Well, you can think those things are fine, but you can't act accordingly. We don't think live and let live is legitimate when it comes to things like murder and stealing. But when it comes to more controversial moral issues, we have to decide if we want to pursue a live and let live approach and stick with it, or whether we instead want to supplant one moral orthodoxy with another. I'm not going to hand down a verdict on which approach is better and when.
That is so lame.
I'm simply saying you've got to choose. With respect to particular issues, you can either advocate genuine moral tolerance or you can coerce others to agree with you. You can't have it both ways. You can't base your advocacy on privacy and freedom and then turn around and punish people who don't agree with you or who practice a different way. Well, I guess you can, but there'll always be people like me who are going to call you out for your hypocrisy. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for coming back. It's been a few weeks. My kids were sick, then I was sick, and yeah, it's been a rough time. Hopefully I can get on a more regular schedule in the near future. Until next time, see ya!